wanted to do a quick review of the BRZ so far. I've owned this car for about 3 months now. Unfortunately, I didn't really have much good weather to be driving this car. Essentially, when I first got it, it was already like the first day of winter, but it's been good to me so far. I'm not gonna review it like everyone else has on YouTube, purely from the perspective of a previous owner of the first generation. So as many of you know, I've had a 2013 Scion FRS. I've owned that car for about 6 years, fully paid it off, and then I sold it. And then I got this car. Actually, I was very underwhelmed when I first saw it, but I actually test drove it and I immediately fell in love with it. Though I did test drive the GR86, the BRZ is essentially the same thing. From the reviews that I've seen on YouTube is mostly people who have never owned the car, so they had a lot of gripes of certain things about the car, which honestly, from my perspective, this car has been such a huge upgrade from the previous generation. There's so many things that they've improved upon it. I feel like Toyota and Subaru developers or engineers actually combed through Reddit and forums, FT86 Club and stuff like that, to really fine-tune this car. I feel like the Scion FRS and BRZ, the Generation 1, was more or less a beta car to see how people would like it, and then Generation 2 is the culmination of all the things that customers have wanted to upgrade or do with their cars, because majority of the things that are in this car are actually mods or things that because customers themselves have changed about the previous generation to make their cars a little bit better. This car pretty much has everything that I wanted. That car was very raw, very race car, and I think they knew that customers were going to modify that car. But with the second generation is more of a refined and tuned vehicle that you don't really need to change much anymore. But that being said, let's get into it again from the perspective of a previous owner. For a quick review, if you have an FRS or BRZ right now, and if you're on the fence about getting the new generation, the quick way to say this is absolutely get it if you can get your hands on it, and if you can get your hands on it at MSRP. Because at the current market, it's starting to slow down, but most dealerships are marking the hell out of these cars. It is slowing down though, so you're starting to see the prices drop off a little bit. But if you can get your hands on one at a decent price like I did, absolutely please get this car, because I want Toyota and Subaru to keep making these cars. They're absolute blasts. But let's get into it. Sorry, it's a little dark in here, but because we're parked in an underground basement. This is where I'm gonna park my car. But let's start off with the steering wheel. I absolutely love this thing. It's nice and thin. I hear a lot of complaints about this steering wheel. It is, to me, I actually really like these. If you had the previous generation FRS, the steering wheel was a little bulky and have absolutely no controls on it. So I actually didn't feel the need to keep it. I actually replaced it with a Momo steering wheel. But this is nice to the touch. The leather is super soft. It's not like the fake leather that we got in the first generation. Again, you also have the audio controls and the controls for the dash. So honestly, this is such a great steering wheel. I'm not even planning to do anything about it, to change it. To the climate control, these things are so awesome. It honestly looks so good in this car. If you had the first generation, again, it was so bare bones. It was absolutely a race car, and they didn't develop anything with those cars, but these look fantastic. The dash, again, is digital, which is nice. You get Apple CarPlay now with these cars. It's not wired, but I do have a wireless thing from Amazon, which brings us over to the glove compartment, which is a nice little storage. I use it as a storage. It's not comfortable for actual cups for me to reach back here, but it is nice to have a little storage here with this thing. In my previous generation, I actually put an aftermarket cover over it, so because it was so weird having this empty hole back here. The seats, I am not even planning to change these out. These are fantastic seats. I think they were essentially the same design as the first generation, but this one has obviously better stitching, and it also has leather and Alcantara instead of just full Alcantara, which we got in the first generation, which doesn't breathe very much. It gets really hot, but these ones breathe a lot better. Again, I've been only driving in the winter, so I can't really tell you, but they are heated as well, which is nice. But honestly, I've long driven this car from when I got it up in Edmonton, and my first 3-4 hours with this car is fantastic. I love these seats, and I don't think I'm ever going to change them either. I had a set of BRZ Zeta 3s on my FRS, but these are so comfortable and they bolster you in so well that I don't think I'm going to change these out either. Moving to the exterior of the car, obviously the whole redesign of the side skirts and the taillights. They even integrated the duckbill spoiler here. This is a GR spoiler, but the main body of the car actually came with a spoiler, which is nice too. The taillights look fantastic. I've seen a bunch of aftermarket taillights, but the OEM ones look so good that I don't think I'm gonna be changing them either. These look so good from factory. Obviously I'm on winter tires because it's winter. And the headlights are so nice as well. This is the limited or Sport Tech version, so mine do swivel on turns. But these headlights are so nice. Continuing the theory that Subaru and Toyota went through the forums and saw how people were modding their vehicles. This looks like the VLANs from the first generation. If you had your BRZ or FRS, you know that the VLANs had their headlights for these cars, their aftermarket headlights, and they look exactly the same as these. Let me turn them on actually. And that's one of the things I like about the BRZ or the FRS. These headlights look so much better on the BRZ than they have on the FRS. It does get dirty though, because my car is gray and I hate it. And that's what the taillights look like when it's on. So overall, fantastic car. I would definitely recommend, especially if you have the first generation, to absolutely get this car. This car gets, how do you say, compared to Honda Civics, Elantra N's, and the MD Miata. And honestly, those cars don't compare at all, especially if you've fallen in love with the first generation. This is basically everything you loved about that, but better. So they improved on everything that you liked about that car with this generation, and it was such a no-brainer for me to upgrade. But yeah, I'm loving this car so far. I've had my first oil change at Subaru, and I know people are going to be talking about the RTV issue, but I've absolutely babied this car, and I'm still in warranty, and I don't race it. So as long as I'm in warranty and I don't race this car and I baby it, they can go through my history of driving this car. I've never redlined it when it was cold, so I think I'm pretty well and safe in the warranty area. The only thing I've changed about this car so far is the exhaust, and that has nothing to do with RTV or engine failure, or it wouldn't affect engine failure at all. So I think I'm pretty safe. People are asking, oh, what do you think about the RTV issue? Honestly, I think it's a little bit overblown, and people on forums do say that the engines have blown up, but they were covered in warranty. But also, whether or not you believe it or not, they're not going to tell you the full truth, whether they were abusing the car, whether they were drifting it. They're not going to tell the dealership that. They're not going to tell us that either on the internet. So take it as you will, or believe them or not. But as for me, I feel pretty safe in this car, and I don't think it's going to blow up or anything. Unfortunately, I did not have this car during the break-in period. It was already broken into. Hopefully, it was broken in properly. So cross your fingers. But again, I have 3 years warranty, power warranty with this car, so I'm not too worried about any engine failures. One of the things that was actually a blessing in disguise was getting a BRZ, because now I can do maintenance with Subaru, and Subaru techs know how to deal with Subaru cars, which is nice. Because I was thinking, if I did get the GR86 and I'd have to bring it to Toyota, do they even know how to handle the car if something were to break, if something were to start leaking? Do they know or have that experience with boxer engines to fix it? So I'm actually pretty happy, and it was an absolute blessing in disguise to get the BRZ. This will be the last time I winter drive it, so it's going to be a pretty much winter princess. When it comes to next winter, it's just going to stay in the garage, and I'm going to keep it in storage. But these past 3 months, I've absolutely loved this car, and I feel so at home in it because I had that FRS for 6 years, and I know how to drive it, and I know how to handle it in winter. So that was a big bonus. I feel like this is just the next step up from the FRS. So hope you guys liked the video. I do have more videos on the way. It's winter in Canada, so there's not much you can really do with a car right now. But I'll go over my aftermarket parts that I've already put on this car in another video, but I'll talk about that in the next one. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace.